Tonight, an 8-month double murder trial has ended with a death sentence for canal killer Bryan Patrick Miller for the murders of 2 women back in the early 90s.
That verdict handed down just hours ago. Team 12's Chase Golightly was in the courtroom as the judge read the sentencing. Chase?
Craven, Mark, the courtroom was packed with people for that sentencing here today. When it was read out loud by the judge, there was no cheering or yelling from those inside. However, you could feel somewhat of a sense of relief from so many who have waited so long for this day.
Having considered all of the facts and circumstances of the case, that the defendant should be sentenced to death on counts 1 and 2.
Bryan Patrick Miller, known as the Canal Killer, sat quietly as he learned his fate.
The heinousness and depravity surrounding these 2 young women's murders is clearly beyond the pale. The defendant did not just murder them, he brutalized them.
It's a case that spanned 30 years. In the early 1990s, 22-year-old Angela Brasso and 17-year-old Melanie Burness were both brutally stabbed to death. Their bodies found in the Arizona Canal near Castles and Coasters. Both had been riding their bikes along the canal when attacked, killed, and then sexually assaulted by Miller. Testimony from investigators who were there that day 30 years ago say Brasso was stabbed multiple times with enough force to break a rib, her head decapitated, and found a week later. Detectives describing Burness's body as being carved open with a knife.
There is no question that what the defendant did deserves the death penalty.
Judge Suzanne Cohen said she did have to look at the mitigating circumstances brought up by the defense, saying what carried the most weight was Miller's young age of 20 years old when these murders happened and the abuse he received from his mother. But it wasn't enough to change her mind. Miller speaking briefly to the judge after the sentencing.
I guess thanks for listening to everything that was said and giving us at least the opportunity to try and convince you otherwise.
It was DNA evidence that linked Miller to these murders. Retired Sergeant with the Phoenix Police Department, Troy Hillman, worked this case and was in court when the sentencing was read.
I'm just elated that she looked at everything in totality and looked at the path of destruction that Bryan Patrick Miller has caused.
Now, within the past hour, we did speak with County Attorney Rachel Mitchell about this case. She says, like any other death penalty case, it will automatically be appealed to the state Supreme Court, meaning it could be years or possibly even decades before this death sentence is carried out. For now, we're live in Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.